know I really should pay more attention to tab. Share. Okay, so here we are. I am so not a Google Meet person. I shouldn't say that as a GEG leader, but sorry, I am so used to Zoom by now that it really throws me off. Anyway, well, may the fourth be with you. Stacy is awesomely in the in.
Woohoo! Hi, I'm Stacy Klein, co-leader with the amazing Karen and Becky, and we're so glad you're here. And our new social media captain, woo woo, Nancy Minicosi. Yay!
It's thank you, thank you. So tonight, our agenda, pretty much the same as all. We'll do a little check-in. I have an activity for us. Let's see, we'll see. We're all learning together, right? Growing with Google, we'll see if it works. And then we have Tara here to present to us on some SEL, and we are so lucky to have her. With that, I'm going to have to stop because I shared a tab with the activity. So hold on. Let me do this and that, and then put this. Maybe. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Sorry. Sorry.
Karen, do you want the slide link in the chat or not yet?
Yes, so you can put it in.
I can put is the dot storming link in there too, the activity link?
It's on the bottom of that page of that slide. Here, I actually pulled it. Let me grab it and stick it in. So I am obviously going to have to play with Meet more if I have to do this. This is terrible.
Okay, yay! So the first link is the slide, and the second one's the activity. Yay!
Right. Okay.
Lisa, she's got a snap camera on. Atta girl.
Yep.
Oh, my kids tease me so much when I say atta girl, atta boy. I'm sorry, I'm from the 70s, is what you said to kids. They're like, oh, they always tease me. Roof, roof was fun. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm so old school.
So can everybody see my screen now with the dot storming? Is that yes? Just people, oh, more people are coming. Perfect. Thank you for nodding your heads. So yes, we do have a little bit of a fun. So Nancy came across it in an article that she read from the wonderful Edutopia. Just a cool tool that we thought we want to give a try. So go ahead and just put your name in. We'll keep putting the link in the chat as I go back and forth and let people in. And of course, we are in the May the 4th theme. So just let us know like which one of these images best represents your mindset tonight. So we have some, very happy flying. One little guy is a little sick. Another one, I think, needs some help. It's like, pick me up, pick me up. And then one, a little sad, a little like overwhelmed. That's the overwhelmed fee. So you can go in and you can add to the one that you like. You can also make comments. So if you want to, I would encourage us to like comment on why we chose what we chose.
I think in the course of the day, I've actually gone through all of those.
Actually, I think in the course of the last 5 minutes, I went through 3 of them. But go ahead and add. So a little bit about this dot storming. It is a freemium, which, you know, I usually hate, although I will say that after your 3 boards that you're allowed to create, this board, it's $5 a month for a teacher. And then they do have like site and district pricing, which I did not look into, but because it's a pretty cheap monthly payment, that's not bad. So I thought I would share it with you. I do like it that if you had to do a quick vote with students in class about something, this is kind of fun. If you were choosing like what you're going to read next, or you wanted just something quick and easy, it's a fun way to get everybody engaged. There's a couple different things that you can do. They have boards kind of like this, the Padlet view, and then there's a couple of different boards that you can create. Is anybody trying the comments?
Yeah, really easy to use. Neat. The little baby spitting up is hilarious.
I'm going to open. There we go. So if I click on it, you can see, I can see the comments. So it pulls up. Always excited to be here. I know it's tiring. 7 o'clock is tough. Yay, excited. I'm so glad people are excited to be here. Ooh, a new trainer. Awesome. If I click through, I don't have more comments on the next one. But you can also choose like the you wanted. Of course, I chose stars just because it's the closest to what our theme was, because we are stars and it is Star Wars. Oh, more comments. Oh gosh, everybody's just excited. I think that's great that that's where we want to land. Nobody likes this little guy? I find him to be hysterical. Either he's sharing whatever's in his hand or he really needs to get picked up, so you can decide. But that is dot storming. It's kind of fun. The link is in this slide deck, and I think Stacy is always on top of it. You probably already put the short link of the slide deck in the chat for you guys. With that, I'm going to come back.
Yeah, at least in Santa Ana, we'll be virtual the rest of the school year, but hitting the ground running like June 8th when we start summer school. We're back in person starting summer school. I think we were a giant entity to try to pivot so quickly, and we had really high COVID rates in Santa Ana. And it's neat. We give out like 2,000 vaccines every Monday with Rite Aid, so just really getting the word out.
All right. I'm going to come back and stop presenting, and then Stacy, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yay!
To just do an intro for our fabulous guest speakers, since you were on that call.
Yay! Thank goodness for Twitter, because I saw Tara was and it's Tara, like tearing paper. I saw Tara was a featured speaker at Q, and I was like, dudette. I like to say dude a lot. I'm a kid. And I was like, would you like to present for us in May? And she's like, yes. And she was so on it. She's like, do you need the slides now? I'm no, just the yes is all I need. And so it was really fun visiting over Twitter and recruiting her to come tonight. And was neat because you asked the speaker what they'd like to talk about rather than have kind of an idea in your head. And she said SEL, and I was like, definitely. So thank you, Tara, for joining us tonight. And we're so grateful.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Oh, does that mean I get started now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you'd like to share. I figured you were going to share your screen. That's right.
Squirrel. Okay.
We go quick and easy. We get right to the point here.
Excellent. Let me figure out what I'm sharing. And do I want to do double screens? So like many of you, probably, I like talking to myself a lot. And so right before I do something, I have to say it out loud to make sure that I like follow through. And so then I'm going to put this here, and then that's going to go there, and then it's going to blink out for a second. Okay, that was a long second, or I just broke it. Yay, and we're back. Okay, so actually I'm going to stop sharing for a split second. Extend screen, present now, this window, and now it won't do that funny split thingy-mabobber where there's like a line in the middle. Okay. So, hi everybody. My name is Tara, like Tara piece of paper. And we are going to be talking about social emotional learning today. And I've got some fun things in, some serious things, you know, not too serious. It is nighttime after all. And then some really cool resources. So if I talk too fast, let me know. I blame a few years of my upbringing in California on the fast talking, because we don't talk fast in the South, but in California, 4th and 5th grade, yeah. All right, so a little bit about me. This is me, and Stacy. Yes, yeah. I was in, let's see, in 4th and 5th grade. I was in Spring Valley, California, so Southern California, and yeah, got my accent there, got my fast talking there, got a lot of things there, in 4th and 5th grade, and so anyhow, moving on. But so this is me. And this is all my information. And I forgot, let me just set up the screen. So this is my company, TL Specialists, and we focus on, we're very equity minded, and we focus on SEL, and we are a recommended partner for the Google for Education Certified Coach Program, and we offer level 1 and level 2 trainings, and we're also part of the Google Services Offer Program. And obviously, we're a Google for Education partner. So that's a little bit about the company. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with today's topic, and that is social emotional learning. And the one thing about social emotional learning is that when we start to bring this into our classrooms and into our schools, the first thing is always making sure that we're okay, right? So like as the adults in the room, as the teachers, as the administrators, we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves before we start to take care of our community. And so that's why I really like this GIF or GIF, depending upon, you know, how you pronounce your G's. Because right here with ALF, like, you know, it's like the whole plane analogy, right? Like, and probably COVID analogy too. So when you're on a plane, they always say, in the case of an emergency, make sure that you secure your face mask before securing the face mask of the person next to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that things can feel like really heavy, right? And so we've got to make sure that when we're experiencing those heavy things, that we are focusing on our self-care and making sure that we're okay. A few things that I like to do for self-care. Really, one big thing is get bubble tea. No matter where I am literally in the world, I find bubble tea, and like I'll try a different flavor each time. It doesn't matter like what country I'm in, what city I'm in, what state I'm in. Bubble tea has been like my go-to for the last 20-ish years, I think, a while. And I bring this up because I don't know if you all have been hearing about what's going on in the world right now, but today is May the 4th, 2021. And for the last few weeks, there have been announcements of a bubble tea shortage. And it is not a joke. Like, it is so serious, right? And so part of the whole idea of self-care here is that when there's about to be a shortage of something, go ahead and like get as much as you can. Not all at once, though. I learned that lesson the hard way. From a cross-country road trip that I did last summer, well, like in September, and I was getting bubble tea at every single stop. And let's just say too much bubble tea can be a bad thing. That's where I'm going to leave it. All right. So all in moderation. All right, so when we talk about social emotional learning, getting back to our topic, there are 5 main components, and 3 of them revolve around the self, and 2 of them revolve around other people. And so we'll go through each of these, and we'll go through some self checks and things like that as well. And as we're going through, feel free to stop me if you have any questions at all. Oh, Katie, yeah, and I just heard today also exactly what you're sharing about the shortage of chlorine. Yeah, so go out and get your bleach and bubble tea, but don't mix the two. All right, so this first thing is a little teacher self-assessment, which is brought to you by CASEL. And if I seem a little jittery, I had a latte a little late. It's just now starting to hit me. It didn't hit me when I was drinking it. It's hitting me now. Okay. So one nice thing about this SEL teacher self-assessment is that it allows you to identify where your strengths are and where your areas of growth are. So you might think that you're doing like everything in SEL, but this is a really nice self-check, especially for distance learning. And what I would venture to say even is that if you're moving back into in-person or if you're doing hybrid as well, this is something that can still apply, especially in hybrid, right? Because you're going to have students that are going to be online, you're going to have students that are going to be in person, but are you making these collaborative environments for them? Are you checking in with families when you don't hear from students? Things like that. So this is a really nice little self-check. And the bit.ly is there, bit.ly/lowercase edu, capital SEL. Oh, and Katie, thank you so much for sharing that in the chat. All right, so self-awareness is all about the ability to recognize one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how those influence behavior. And especially with students, I really like using these inside out GIFs and little snippets, because I don't know if everybody here has seen Inside Out. If you haven't, it is a must watch. Like, you might actually cry. I know I did at certain parts because I'm like, oh my goodness, these emotions I can totally resonate with. And because it's animated, it gives a really nice depiction of exaggerated at times, but you know, sometimes this is spot on. Like, I was crying like that the other week. Can't remember what. Oh, nope. It was from an episode of This Is Us. Yep. So, right. And also, if you need a good cry, watching This Is Us, any episode will deliver that. All right. So, one way in which you can work with students around self-awareness is to do these Jamboard check-ins. And so I'll share the link here in the chat because I didn't make a bit.ly for that one. My bad. So on this check-in, one of the really nice things with Jamboard is that you can set a background, and that can be like, when you set a background, students can't edit that, right? And so it's really nice so that they won't be able to move like the good around or the lines around and different things like that. Another nice thing, and I did this with a group of adults recently, is if you have students going into breakout rooms and using Jamboard, you can assign the breakout rooms, like name them the color of the sticky note. And then when the students are contributing to the Jamboard and they're from like the orange group or the blue group or the green group and so on and so forth, they're all using the same color sticky note. So, and if you have colorblind students, then hopefully like not all of the colorblind students are in the same group. Because then you can do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or well, I just said 6, but there's 5. Okay, moving on. It's the caffeine. So you can add a sticky note and you can change the color of it. and you can click save. And the nice thing about the sticky notes also, if you've never used Jamboard, is once you click save, it assumes that you want to make another sticky note. And so if you wanted to move that around and be like, no, I'm feeling this way, then you could do that. You could also click on the 3 circles and delete it. You can edit it, you can duplicate it. You can change the order of where it goes if there's multiple sticky notes there. And as you can see here, you can copy and paste a Bitmoji, right? You can copy and paste different images. You can use the insert here and insert something by URL, camera, Google Image Search, Drive, Google Photos. Another nice thing is that you have all of these boards, right? And so what I like especially is that when you're inserting, let's say that you go to add an image and you do a Google image search and you say thumbs up. Yep, but I just made the popping sound. Then you can click insert. And when you click insert, let's say that you wanted to turn that into a thumbs down. If you grab these crosshairs and rotate them around, all of a sudden that thumbs up is now a thumbs down. So this is also really nice in terms of self-awareness to get students' feedback on how lessons were, right? And so students don't necessarily have to say their name, but if they're saying, yeah, I understand what was being shared, then it would go over here. If they're like, I don't even know what that equation was, then it would go over here. And it's a nice self-check on both like the teacher and the student side in terms of checking to see how people are doing and how the learning is going. All right, so, and my computer is not charging, is it? Yep, it's plugged in, but not charging. Oh, technology. Okay, so the next thing is Seesaw. So this is really great, especially if you're working with younger students. So in Seesaw, there's this whole big ol' activity library that is teacher made. And so it's a great, and I'll throw this link in here. And so basically what you're able to do is you can search by grade level. And so let's say that it was 6th grade that I was working with, and you can also search by subject, and they've added the social emotional learning in there. So even if you're using Seesaw with older students, there are tons of different SEL activities that are in there that all you have to do, and we'll go back to the 1st grade example because those are really fun. Not to say that 6th grade isn't. I just like the young grades. So there's this emoji check-in here that Coach Ben has. And when you click on try it, then that's something that you can then customize for your students. And they can easily, like when you push that out to your students as an activity, then they can circle like how they're feeling, right? And so this is a really great way to check in with your students around self-awareness, right? How are you feeling? How are you actually doing? Let's see. Yay, now the computer's charging. Another great thing with self-awareness is that journaling is a really big area because that relates to self-awareness, because when we are aware of how we're feeling, that means that we're able to capture those feelings in some way, right? And so, and by reflecting on how we were Monday compared to how we were Tuesday, one nice thing that you can do is use a template in SlidesMania. Throw this link in there as well. And in SlidesMania, they have these really great mini journals. And so with the mini journals, you have different customizable ones, and they work in both the Google Slides world and in the Microsoft PowerPoint world. And as you navigate through, this is now a visually fun place for students to be able to write reflections on how they're feeling each day and how their learning is going. So when it comes to engaging students in these types of activities, definitely doing something that's more than just writing on a piece of paper is really important. So whether it's allowing them to use emojis or GIFs or things like, well, maybe not like the whole GIF library, but like, you know, student-friendly GIFs and things like that, then that's super important as well. All right, so the next thing is self-management. And this is all about being able to regulate one's emotions. So self-awareness is knowing what those emotions are. Self-management is a whole other thing. In my first year teaching, I was given this reading intervention group at an elementary school in Philadelphia. And I had this little boy in my group, and his name was Christian. And he was so small. And he was in, oh gosh, was he in 3rd grade? But he was reading on a kindergarten level. So every time that we would have our reading group meet in the morning, we would do round robin reading. He wasn't a strong reader, right? So he would literally get up from the group and run all the way across the cafeteria and hide under the table. He did not have those self-management skills to be able to control his impulses to just flee rather than stay there and learn. So what I wish that I would have known then was not this, but the next thing. So this is an example of how when you're working with older students, you can create calendar events from emails. So instead of emailing students and saying, hey, this assignment is due on Friday, email them, say it's due on Friday, and then directly after do the 3 circles in your email and create an event. And what it'll do is automatically it'll add everybody that was on that email, right? So it saves time and it ensures that people aren't missing deadlines. I literally do this, as you can see, I did this for ISTE 20. I do this anytime somebody emails me something that has a due date assigned to it. So this next example here, this is something that I wish that I would have known my first year teaching. So that little story that I told you about Christian, if I would have brought in something like this, then it would have calmed the situation rather than just waking up and jumping into round robin reading. It's like, no, let's take a little break before we transition or before we start something. So because it is nighttime for everybody, hopefully you won't fall asleep during this. Can you hear my audio? Okay.
I don't think we hear the audio from your video that you're showing.
Oh, yep, of course, because technology. Yep. So, when you're on one too many tools, then that's what happens. And so then if I present now and a window and if I do it one more time.
Yeah, share it, a tab, you can share the sound.
Oh, yep, you're right. Okay, because I'm thinking Zoom world and that makes more sense. Okay. And then I'll just change the share after. Yep, okay. See, thinking out loud. And there we go. I'm going to suggest that as an update, that when you share a window, that there should be a share sound button to that window. All right. And sharing this tab. Yeah, it is the little differences. Okay, so now you're going to be able to hear this. Get ready. Okay, not that part.
This exercise will teach you how to gain control of your stressful energy when it gets too high to handle. Close your eyes, listen, and follow along. Or keep your eyes open and follow along that way. It's up to you. Sit tall. You can be on the ground with your legs crossed, or in your chair with your feet flat on the floor. Now imagine that you can look up and see the sky. And up in the sky, way up in the sky, is a balloon. If you'd like, you can choose a color for your balloon. Keep the picture of the balloon in your mind. The balloon's string reaches all the way down to your hands. Hold on to the string. Imagine that you can feel the pull of that big balloon. Imagine that the wind pushes it from side to side. Or imagine that the wind actually tries to pull the balloon higher into the sky. Maybe you can feel the gentle tugging of the string in your hands. Now try to bring your balloon down. Be careful to go slowly. You don't want the fragile string to break from pulling too hard or too quickly. Take your time. Imagine that you can gently pull the string, hand over hand. The string collects in a pile at your feet. Hand over hand, pull after gentle pull. The balloon appears to come closer. It might even become easier to bring it down in your mind as it gets closer to you. Keep bringing it down, closer and closer. Some other strings might be longer or shorter than yours, and that's okay. Just bring it down at your speed. Focus on your balloon. Keep bringing it down. Your colorful balloon may now be within your reach. Pretend that you do not need to use the string anymore. You can actually hold the balloon between your hands. Notice if you can feel the balloon in your hands. Be gentle. Imagine that with your next out-breath, you can open your hands and release your balloon. Let it go. Notice in your mind where it goes. It could be different for everyone. Just remain still for a few more moments and watch your balloon drift away.
Wasn't that the most calming thing ever? Now, when we're with our students and we're teaching them about stress management, this is something that we can use with them. When we're by ourselves, what I personally do is I'll just get in my vehicle, turn Spotify on to like 20 or 30, and whatever song that I happen to be into at the moment, I will literally put that on repeat for my whole trip and start belting it out to the point where I was at a Starbucks drive-thru recently and the person in front of me paid for my drink. And I was like, oh, wait, did they think that I was going through something because I'm belting out like this I'll rise up like song? They probably did. Anyhow, so we all have those moments, and having some calm music or even like being able to just sing it out is really important. And we're not going to do that again. Nope. Okay. So the next area is responsible decision making. And so when it comes to responsible decision making, there's so many decisions that you can make in your life, right? And our students, especially in a virtual world, it's like, do I post that or do I not post that? Do I tag these people? Do I not tag these people? Do I respond to this message? Do I forward this chain message? So on and so forth, right? The list is endless. So one nice resource that I like is Nearpod. So Nearpod has these really nice SEL lessons that are geared for middle school and high school. And I just realized, I've got to keep on switching my tabs. But the really nice thing about Google is that when you start sharing one tab, as soon as it opens in the other tab, it'll say, do you want to start sharing this tab? And you're like, yes. And so you click the button that essentially says yes without saying yes. Haha. That was wordy. So there are SEL moments for K through 5, and there are also ones for 6 through 12. And so whenever I think of responsible decision making, I think of if then. In computer science, it's called conditional statements, right? In EduSpeak, it's also conditionals. It just so happens that, whether we're talking about SEL or computer science or education, conditionals are something that exist everywhere because they exist in life. So the nice thing about these if then is that it gets students to think through how they would react to a situation, right? And so it starts with some little questions around which is closest to your mood and energy level right now. So that's that check-in. And then it gets into breaking down for students exactly what if then is. So I love how it uses XY as an example, right? Because then we're getting into math speak, which is so important that the students see that resemblance. And when we get here, it gets students to collaborate with one another as well. So let me get to, dun, dun, dun. All right, the open-ended question is always where it's at. So it prompts students to think of if-thens, and then when it's goal-based also, like what they would do if they face an obstacle. And it gets into the collaboration with students as well, which we'll get into in just a moment. All right, so I'll share this one instead. Right. And so, and I saw an earlier comment in terms of like the singing, like if you do car karaoke, oh my goodness, it is so great. Like I even had a state trooper at one point, like kind of look at me when he was passing me by, and I'm like, nah, I'm just in the zone. Like, don't worry, it's totally fine. Like for a few weeks there, I was really into like Kesha's song Praying. And I had to like listen to it about 20 times to like know what the lyrics were saying. For the Rise Up song, I had to actually like watch the video, the lyric video, to like know what those lyrics were. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I can like sing this with my eyes closed now. I won't, because we're recording this, but you know, music can be really helpful and sounds can be really helpful, which is why that Go Noodle is like so important. So this one, relationship skills. Relationship, say that 10 times fast. Skills are so important, regardless of where the relationship takes place, whether it's online or whether it's in person, because a relationship is a relationship is a relationship. And so it's important that students are exposed to healthy relationships and rewarding relationships, and that they're having relationships with diverse individuals and groups, not just their best friends, but people that don't look like them, that don't talk like them, that aren't from where they're from. Super duper important. So what we're going to do, I've created this little interactive activity. I hope y'all are ready. If you want to come on camera, then that would be fun. If not, that's totally fine too. So there's this Zoom around the room activity. And so I like doing this with adults. You can also do this with students, especially with older students, because it gets them to get out of their shells and to connect with one another, right? Because maybe two students chose the same item. So this comes from Kelly Clarkson's TV show. I forget what it's called, but she does this with her guests. And so what will be said is something like, find something orange, right? And then everybody will go find something orange and bring it back to the camera. All right, so, but that was just a test. Hold on. All right, find something that helps you de-stress. Ready, set, go. Excellent. Does anybody want to come off mute and tell us what you shared?
I will. I have a little sewing tomato with that you stab your needles into. Oh, that can be fun too, right? Okay. I actually only took up sewing when I was in a moment of like extreme, like horrific grief. I had medication to help me through that, which is like, I'm so grateful for medication that helps us through those times. But sewing, just getting that hobby, just like, It relaxes me. Not quilting though, because like that's straight lines. That is not relaxing for me. So but I can sew a shirt. I can sew baby blankets, all kinds of jazz now. So like, yeah, it relaxes me. It makes me happy because I'm always making stuff for other people. I need to be selfish, right? Something for myself. That's
That is totally awesome. And as you were saying that, I saw something in the chat, and right there, boom, relationship. So either Becky or Jerry, do you want to share?
Sure. You take a little LaCroix, you put a little of something in it, including fruit juice, and you have yourself a nice, time on the patio.
That's awesome. And if y'all saw, yeah, a little adult beverage, or, yeah, what it is. But see, right there, we're building relationships because like we're finding connections and things. So we'll do one more for the sake of time. Let's see.
Hey, Tara, huge request favor. Can you stop sharing your screen so we can see everyone's thinking at once?
Oh, yes, totally. I'll stop sharing for this one, and then I'll remember how to share again. Yep. Okay. All right. So in that case, we'll do two because like this one, like we couldn't see because I was sharing my screen. Okay. So get ready. Find something. ... Oh, find something that makes you smile.
You can't see it.
All right, who would like to share?
I'll share. This is my pineapple hat. You can't really see it. Karen has one too. We wore these when we presented at a conference about pineapple charts. And so, it was a way to get people to come. So it's just, I recently moved and I don't have anywhere to put this. So it's just sitting on my desk, but it makes me happy. I like it. It's cute.
Excellent. And we'll take one more.
Okay, this is my CSLA mug, and it was a virtual conference, and it says "Embrace the Future." So it makes me smile because it's a nice big mug, and I can have my coffee and drink it all day long.
It really is the best size of mug ever. So, Katie, thank you, but I don't know if you picked the mugs. It's the best size mug ever.
Good job, you guys.
See?
That's hilarious.
Awesome. And I got this face mask from an art museum, but it's my favorite because it has irises on them, and irises are my favorite flower. All right, one last one. Find something that reminds you of a place that you've been to. All right, I'll start for this one and then we'll do two shares. So this is my phone cover for my lovely Pixel, and I got it designed based on a photo that I took when I first arrived in Paris the other year, because I lived in Paris for like 14 months. So it reminds me of Paris, like the blue sky part of Paris, not the gray sky. All right, who else would like to share?
I'll share on this one because I'm really excited for this. Mine's a picture frame from Vegas, but there's not even a picture of us in it yet because we just got our wedding pictures back. So
Yay!
They haven't arrived yet, but it's our Vegas. One of my friends got it as like a for fun photo album, but yeah.
Yay!
That's all.
Oh, that's awesome.
We all
All right,
watched
yeah.
you far away over Zoom and with tears in our eyes. So sweet.
Oh, and I see Salt from Italy. That's awesome. Yeah, see, you see, like it's the little things. And then also like when people start to share what they're sharing, when they share what they're sharing, when they share about what they chose. Yes, Then, then people can be like, oh, wait, you went to Vegas, I went to Vegas. Wait, you went here, I went here. And then it starts to build those bonds and those relationships and furthers the conversation as well. So yay. All right. So let me make sure that I'm sharing this the right way, and I'm doing a tab, and it is the GEG SoCal Terra tab with the audio, and it has the button. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing is Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is a really nice way to have students connect with one another. So especially if students are new to a class, it's before the first day and you're like, hey, welcome, I'm your teacher. And let me tell you a little bit about me. And you make like a little entry video and you send it out to everybody. Well, why not with that video? Why not create a Flipgrid and have the students introduce themselves and share something cool that they've done. So this is just a sample. Let me get logged in and then I'll share. Yep, use that account and share this tab instead. So this is a sample one that I created last summer, and this was share quick response featuring a new skill that you learned over the past 4 months, right? And so one really nice thing about this is that when you have students introduce themselves on Flipgrid, they're also saying how to say their name. And it's really important that we get our students' names right. That's like a CRP type of thing, but it also helps us with the relationship with students, because if you start the year by saying a student's name incorrectly, and then you keep on and you never get it right, then that student has like diminishing, not respect, but well, kind of, because you keep saying their name incorrectly, right? And then it's like, they don't really know me, right? So that's why I like right before we got on this call, everybody asked how to say my name. And I'm like, yep, tear a piece of paper, Tara. Not Tara, not Tiara. But what's really nice with Flipgrid is that when you record a response, this is where you can give students, I'm seeing myself so many times, it's like overwhelming, but I am a Gemini, so there's that. Anyhow, this is where you can give students different options for effects. And for the effects, you can have them choose a filter that they're most comfortable with. And if students don't want to show their face, then they don't have to show their face, right? Because the whole objective is not, hey, show your face and model for us. It's to build relationships. And so when students have that flexibility of what type of filter they're going to use, then they'll see commonalities with other students who are using that, and that will build some type of connection that can then be further built upon. I just said build like way too many times in one sentence. Anyhow, moving on. All right, and share this one instead. All right, another really great activity is called Mentimeter. So if you scan this QR code, it is going to take you to this Mentimeter. And this Mentimeter, and you can also go to menti.com and put in this code, and it's going to ask you, what is your favorite food? When you ask students some type of open-ended question and you have it as a word cloud, the more times that a student puts like their choice in. So for example, if I were to put in blueberries, because those of you who know me know that blueberries are like my #1 most favorite fruit in the entire world. Mangoes are a close second, followed by dragon fruit, and then star fruit, and pomegranate, and anyhow, moving on. But when students go here and they start to put their choices in, they can see not just like the popularity of the choices, but as their choice starts to grow, they'll be able to see that other people like what they like. And that builds a connection and a base level bond that students can have with one another. And we'll let this load for a moment. And you can see down here, using Mentimeter, how many students are like logged in, how many students have gone to menti.com and put in the code, and that number will increase. And so it looks like, wow, sushi is pretty popular. And Katie, I'm seeing you put in the chat, dark chocolate, yes. We don't have a bunch of time, so I won't get into the super long story, but let's just say the pandemic has encouraged me to buy in bulk. And so when I find something that I like, I do the big order so that you get free shipping. So a few things that I have done big orders on are dark chocolate, olives from California, like I might have bought $180 worth, but I got free shipping. And I still have olives. And Lesser Evil popcorn is like the best and super healthy and has like a ton of fiber and like potassium in it. And so, yeah, anyhow, moving on, just doing a little personal sharing there. And yeah, so we'll talk offline about the dark chocolate, but like there's this there's this place in Wisconsin that makes dark chocolate covered honey. OMG, that is all I'm gonna say. All right, so another great place to build relationships, especially with other classes in other areas, is Empatico. So Empatico is really nice. And let me get to it first. And I won't take the time to log in here, or maybe I will. Yeah, because it remembers me. Yay. So Empatico is really nice because it's kind of like when you're doing mystery Skypes, but with purpose. So not necessarily a guessing game, but instead connecting globally around a lesson or a topic. And so these are some of the featured activities. So I can and I did, our year in review, different things like that. And so then you can connect with another class privately within the Empatico platform that's of the same grade level or whatever options you choose. And it's a way that students in your class can connect with somebody who might be on the other side of the world or the other side of the state or the neighborhood or the country. So it's a really nice way to get students connected. All right, I'm noticing time, moving forward. So if you watch TV, if you watch NBC, a really great show is Zoe's Infinite Playlist. Love that show for so many reasons. If you ever have songs that are in your head, like it's a really great show to resonate with, except that she hears songs in other people's heads. It's interesting. So social awareness these days is actually more like brand awareness, right? Because like we have our personal brand. And so if our personal brand is consistent with who we are, then it becomes social and brand awareness. And so when we talk about social awareness, a big part of that is empathy. And empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. What are you sorry for? You didn't do anything. Empathy is being able to understand and share the feelings of somebody else. It's like being able to walk in their shoes and to see where they're coming from. So Common Sense Media offers a really great digital citizenship library that centers on empathy in the scenarios that they give. So like, for example, if you were to choose third grade and cyberbullying and digital drama and hate speech, then it'll give you a grade appropriate standard aligned activity that gives scenarios for students to work through. Another thing that I like, especially with different social justice movements going on in the world, is learningforjustice.org, which used to be tolerance.org. If you put in tolerance.org, it'll actually take you to Learning for Justice. And so let me let it load first. Okay, there we go. So when we are talking about students and connecting with others and understanding others from different cultures and understanding what's going on in the world. Learning for Justice is a really great place to go, especially as a teacher, because it helps to break down some of the different social justice things that are going on in the world, right? And so, and it helps give discussion points as well about how to talk to students about things like COVID, or how to talk to students about things like humanizing Asian Americans in the classroom through children's literature, right? And so it's really nice. It's free. There's different resources and student tasks even. And so when you go there, yeah, I'm faster than the computer. Okay, so then you can get into like do something, for example, and there are 34 tasks in here. And it's all based on doing something, and something that is something that demonstrates anti-bias awareness and civic competencies, right? And it tells you exactly what grade level it's matched to as well. And so I like Learning for Justice a lot because it breaks down those nuanced topics that sometimes are really hard to approach, especially with students. Like, how do we know what the right thing to say is? So Learning for Justice gives a really good script for that and helps to break that down in an understandable way. All right, so I'm noticing what time it is. I don't want to go over. Just want to say that when you're doing social emotional learning activities with your students, it's not one more thing, it's how the thing is done. And understanding that that aspect, like social emotional learning, is a part of being a human, right? Empathy is humane. Having relationships is humane. And so as you venture out, may the force be with you. Get it? May the force be with you. Okay. And thank you all so much for being here.
Hey, Tara, it's a great presentation. Thank you. Are you sharing your slides from tonight? We got the SEL checklist, but everybody would probably love to have all the slides. And I can just put a link to that in our GEG SoCal slide deck if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, because of course, coffee brain. Mm-hmm.
And then you wouldn't need to make a bit.ly for it.
No, I mean, I can, yeah, let me just do, yeah. Uh-huh.
Poor kid. It's also 3 hours later for you. Is it like 10 o'clock at night for you?
It's 11.
Yeah, it's like going on midnight-ish. And so, yeah, like I'm debating right now, like, okay, to help me go to sleep, I have like this night food ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't eat a whole lot of it. But if you like, okay, if y'all have like night food ice cream, it works really well. It has like 10% magnesium in it.
Wow.
It is the weirdest food-based sleep aid that I think I've ever had. But if I eat that, I'm gonna have to brush my teeth again. So it might just be the dream water.
Oh, that's right. It's almost 11 for you. Holy cats.
It's all right. I woke up late.
That's great. Thank you for staying awake for us. That's
Yeah,
Dream water. You should put the link to Dream Water in your presentation too. I'm always looking for something that'll make me sleep better. So I'm going to just present real quick back just to finish out. And really all we have left is what's coming up. But I just wanted to let everybody know that what's coming up for the summer is we're really hoping to promote some Google Educator 1 and Google Educator 2. Whoever wants to like take the plunge and try that, if you're already one and you know somebody else, like this is the time. We're gonna coordinate, I know, camp, but we will be here to mentor anybody in SoCal that wants help, that wants to go through the program. June is for Educator 1 and July is for 2. So I just wanted to put that out there, tell your friends, get a group together. That might be a fun thing for you guys to do.
Did you disappear on purpose, Karen?
Oh, I must have. Did I not? No, I was sharing and not knowing I was not sharing. No, and my camera's been going on and off like randomly by itself throughout this. So it's just choosing when you're allowed to see me and when you're not. So I apologize.
Well, I'm so curious to know.
Again, technology, the fabulous thing. So yeah, June 1st is our next meeting. And
My birthday.
Yes, the mistake I made. So happy birthday. Now I'll know to like reach out to you because it's your birthday. Another connection. So, and July 6th is our educator too. So it is 8:01. I will stop sharing. I will stop recording.
Well, I am super curious to know if Tara also bought the night food ice cream in bulk. Like I'm envisioning like 5 refrigerators to take care of this.
So they're little pints, and